Hi, good afternoon. I'd like to welcome you to the Salford Council FreelanceHER panel discussion. Today we're going to be talking about a groundbreaking programme called FreelanceHER 100, which was born out of the heart of Salford in Media City. I'd like to introduce you to the panel. Jenny Heggie, Tina Bowden, Aisha Tuamore, and Kaylee Wilson, and myself, Naomi Timperley. I am the project director on the programme. If we could have Jenny, if you could tell me a little bit more about you and your business.
Oh, hi. So, yeah, I'm Jenny. I have a little business called Small Marketing. I'm a digital marketer. I've been freelance for about 6 years now, and I've got about 20 years of experience. I've worked in a variety of different industries, including advertising, travel, and really strangely, automatic tile inspection.
I never knew about that. Tina Bowden, could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, hi, I'm Tina Bowden and I'm a micro business specialist. I work with micro business owners and those that are slightly bigger than micro business, and of course wonderful freelancers, to help them ensure the well-being of their business and themselves is as good as it can be.
Thank you. And Aisha Tuamore, could you tell us a little bit more about yourself and what you do?
Yes, I'm Aisha too, and I work as a business strategist. I largely support small organizations to ensure that the work they're doing day to day aligns with their company vision. So that can take the shape of a communications framework. It could be putting procedures in place to make sure everyone knows what's happening in the organization. It's quite flexible. But ultimately, the goal is to make sure there's no wasted effort in the organization and they can get whatever they need to do done. And my background's actually largely in communication, so I love being able to do it.
Brilliant, thank you. And Kaylee Wilson, tell us a little bit about you.
Hi everyone, I'm Kaylee Wilson and I'm the founder of Change It Up, which is a business I launched on Christmas Eve 2020. My previous experience is in a law firm, managing a law firm for nearly 20 years, and I'm now an entrepreneur. And I provide workplace training, awareness and support surrounding the menopause so that businesses can retain female staff so they don't have to feel they have to leave their careers because of their symptoms, and they can continue to work until they want to.
Brilliant, thank you. And I am Naomi. I'm project director of FreelanceHER 100, but I'm also a growth and innovation consultant, specialising in working with tech, digital, and creative businesses. So I'm going to. This is going to be a discussion about the programme, but I'm just going to tell you a little bit about it first. FreelanceHER 100 is a groundbreaking, fully funded accelerator programme for women looking to launch and grow sustainable businesses in the digital, creative, media and technology sectors across Greater Manchester. It's all about empowering female freelancers to be strong leaders, to create powerful enterprises and to influence and shape the world through their companies using collaboration, community and innovation. We recognise and maximise the exceptional strengths that are unique to the female entrepreneur. The programme started in February and ran for 12 weeks up until the end of April. It combined interactive workshops, peer-to-peer mentoring, facilitated by an allocated mentor, and it was very much around community. So today is really about learning about the panel's experience on the programme. So we're going to dive right in. So my first question to all of you, apart from Tina, and that's because Tina was a mentor on the programme, is why did you apply for the programme? If we go to Jenny first.
Well, it was kind of a real spur of the moment thing, to be honest. I saw your advert on Facebook or LinkedIn or something, and it was the middle of the night, and I was feeling a bit kind of down in the dumps, thinking, like, what the hell? You know, when you're doom scrolling and just going, oh, I don't know what on earth I'm going to do. How do I get myself out of this? And I just saw it and applied for it because it sounded great. And you know, when you kind of don't think, oh, it's like, oh, I'll never get onto that. And then a couple of weeks later, I got this message out of the blue saying that I'd been accepted. So yeah, it was, a real spur of the moment thing, as I say, but came at the right time.
Okay, thank you. Ishtu, why did you apply for the programme?
I'd always been curious about tech, and I'm convinced that whatever algorithm it was that brought the actual advert up had known that I was looking for things. I was curious about programming, but I didn't want to do programming. So initially, when I just heard that the In 4.0 was doing something, I was like, they're tech people. This would be a shoo-in for me to get into tech. And then I went through the form and it went, oh, you need to have a business and you need to be running one. And I'd been doing the type of work that I'm doing now, getting paid for free for quite a bit. And so on a whim, I just went, you know what, I'm just going to register for my business right now. But there was only like 4 days left. So I was waiting for my number to come through for this newly registered business so I could get onto it. And it's absolutely surpassed my expectations because I was looking for something to do that meant that I could be in control of my life. And I've ended up finding that in a way. Brilliant.
Thank you. And Kaylee, why did you apply for the programme?
It kind of came at a really great time because I'd literally just started my business. It was completely new, never been an entrepreneur before, and I didn't know very much, in all honesty. And it was a massive learning curve. Saw it on LinkedIn and I thought I'd apply. I didn't think I'd get on, in all honesty. And I thought I've got no chance. And then when I did, obviously it was just such an eye-opener, but it just came at the perfect time because, like I say, I'd never been an entrepreneur, I didn't have those skills. And as well, the digital side, I just felt like there was just so much to learn. So I was just so thankful I got on the programme.
And Tina, you were a mentor on the programme. What was it like for you to be involved?
Well, I'd not only mentored, but I also had the pleasure of delivering one of the workshops as well. So there was a workshop every week, and we were allocated mentor groups, and I actually mentored 2 groups. And I'm 33 years this year in business, and self-employed, 3rd generation self-employed. But for the last 7 or 8 years, I've been working with people to help them, as I've already said, ensure their well-being and the well-being of the business is as good as it can be. I've never, ever worked on a programme like FreelanceHER 100. I've never, ever felt that community spirit. I think one of the very key points that we need to look at as part of this is that it was peer mentoring as well. So it wasn't one-to-one mentoring. And one of my, we've rechristened them the Thursday therapists because there were 10 women in each group. And the Thursday therapists, Victoria wrote all about the fact that when she found out she was accepted onto the programme, she discovered it was peer mentoring and not one-to-one mentoring. And she was quite against it. She said it was the best thing she'd ever done. And I honestly believe that the enthusiasm, the camaraderie, the care, the compassion, the empathy, the understanding was all to do, was just a brilliant uplift for so many of the women, if not all of them. The community created through the social media as well. And a lot of that has been because of the programme director, and I've had the pleasure of knowing that programme director for a lot of years and working with her. And she won't be able to say this about herself, but I know that a lot of that is because of this. And I've been really lucky as well because I'm based on the Yorkshire coast. So COVID's been good for me because from a mentoring point of view, I've been saying for about 6+ years to micro business owners, if you want me to mentor you, you'll have to do it online. And they've been like, oh no, we don't want that. Now everybody wants, it's like we're online. Oh my God, we can do this. And I just think the whole thing has been brilliant. I sound like I'm on commission, but I'm actually not on commission. It's just the best programme ever. And I haven't stopped talking about it since I finished delivering on it either.
So I'm just going to thank you, Tina. So just to sort of for those who are listening, this was a fully funded programme which was created by In4 Group, who operate Host in Media City. And it was a programme that was for women, 100 women from across Greater Manchester. And what was really important is that we had a programme that could be delivered flexibly. So every week during the 12 weeks, there was a workshop, and the workshops were delivered 3 times a day. We also had, as Tina talked about, the peer-to-peer mentoring, which they had weekly. There was also additional sessions that they had, like Brunch and Learns. We had some amazing, ambassadors on the programme and speakers. And we also had a community platform called My2B, which really had the profiles of everybody on, but they could also see where there were skill gaps, and they could very much help each other. So I'm going to come back to Aisha, to Kaylee and Jenny. How important was that flexibility to you as a freelancer, but also I know some of you also have caring responsibilities as well?
For me, it was incredibly important because it started in February, didn't it? So I was at the height of homeschooling, which, that's a whole other story. It was an absolute horror. But, I couldn't have, at that time, I wouldn't have been able to kind of devote 2 hours at any given time. I couldn't have definitely showed up at 9, depended on what was going on in the household. And keeping work ticking over. But I have to say that the time homeschooling just dominated absolutely everything. Anything could go wrong, or a child could need help, or somebody could, I've got elderly neighbours that could call round and need help. It was brilliant that there were 3 little slots that you could go into on a Tuesday and go and sit in on the course. Or, I think one day I had to leave halfway through, so I was able to jump on at 5 o'clock later on and listen to the rest of it, which was really helpful.
Aish too, I know on one of the sessions, I think it might be one of the evening sessions, you've got young children, and I remember you listening intently, but also looking after the kids, but also trying to cook the dinner as well. Juggling everything is, I've got teenagers now. How was it for you to have that flexibility?
It was incredibly useful to have the physical flexibility of being able to do that, but also the way they were delivered. I wasn't expected to be fully there and listening and staring, because I've been on some similar courses where you're expected to give your full attention and be sat somewhere and taking notes. And a lot of the time I was able to just get a lot of information, and because they were recorded, I could revise in a time when it was settled. And so I think the flexibility in the delivery was vital, because it meant that I could deal with a child as well as cook dinner and as well as prepare people for bed if I needed to at the time. But it also meant that because I wasn't expected to be fully present, I was a lot more relaxed, and I was a lot more, because I would have just missed the session if they had said, oh, you need to be sat down with a note and paper ready to ask questions and engage at any given time. Then I would have just missed the session and I wouldn't have made it. So I think the sheer breadth of consideration was vital and absolutely pivotal in making the program a successful one for me.
And Kaylee, what was your experience about the flexibility?
I probably didn't need it as much as other people, but things just crop up in life sometimes, don't they, out of the blue, and it's unexpected, and you've got to take somebody to the doctors or have an appointment somewhere. So whilst most of my time was quite structured, I liked my 9 o'clock slots, and it was great that if something did crop up, I didn't have to feel bad about it and think, oh, I'm going to miss it, what am I going to miss? I could just jump on the next session. But also, quite a few of them, I jumped on 2 sessions, because sometimes I was just listening and trying to take in all the information. I thought, actually, do you know what? I can just do that session again with a different group and get a different perspective on it. So that flexibility as well worked really well for me, and I felt like I learnt more because of it.
I think it's interesting you should say that, actually, because I think the having that different perspective, because I delivered some of the courses, the workshops, and each one, even though it was the same content, obviously different audience, different questions, they were almost very different. Now, Tina, you were obviously a mentor, and you delivered one of the sessions yourself. But what was the impact that you saw from the workshops week on week, when you were doing your mentoring sessions after them?
Could I just make it very clear that I delivered the session on the Tuesday, the day after the pubs reopened? And the number of attendees at 9 o'clock was a lot less than it has been on all the 9 o'clock sessions. I was like, why was there that low number? And then we realised what the problem had been. And actually, on the with my mentor groups, they said to me, oh, sorry, we didn't make the 9 o'clock session. We'd just been out and we were like seriously hungover. I think that the whole way that, I think one of the key things was the mentors had all been in the position of the FreelanceHER 100 women that we were mentoring. We'd all been there, we'd done it. I think a lot of the women, so in one of the groups we had one session, a bit like Aisha too, where we were mentoring, and one of the ladies had 2 kids under 5 and she had no childcare. So the whole session was not only the mentor session and we got through, we did the different stuff, but I led it so that we were talking about actually what Jenny was saying, that life gets in the way, and and this is one of the key things for me in the work that I do, is actually making sure that people understand these 2 things are connected. So actually, we would look at the workshops every week, we'd talk about them, but then I'd also lead on asking very quickly, because I have three areas that I look at: thoughts, fears, and great ideas. So every week we'd look at if somebody had a specific thought, a fear, a great idea, and we'd work on that. But actually, I think with everything that we've been through over the last 12 months and with the mentoring, it became very much about opening up as people that allowed us then to understand how that would help our business, and how the freelancers could then understand how being a freelancer actually impacts the way you run your business, because life does happen, things do get in the way, and there's nothing we can do about it. So and we come back to the same thing here with the community aspect. And actually, because we were such a strong, great community together, that was why everybody supported each other and continues to do. Because I know, Naomi, that, you mentored 4 groups. We've all still got the WhatsApp groups going. We're all still communicating with each other. We're all still supporting each other. Some are meeting in person. Some are going out walking together. And I think because of the way that the workshops were delivered, that every week everybody could come and go at different times, because of the mentor groups, because of the social media, because of the way we've interacted, because of the way people were tagged, because of the social events that you did online. It was all amazing. It's just, every little bit of it, whether it was the flexibility of the workshops or the mentoring or however it was done, every little bit of it was vital to make it the success it was.
Thank you. So Jenny, Aisha too, and Kaylee, segueing very nicely onto what Tina's just said, you all took part in the peer-to-peer mentoring. What did you get out of it? And I'm going to come to Aisha too first.
The main thing that I got from it was perspective, and a lot of there was just a lot of reassurance and confidence building. But the main thing was perspective, because I was seeing a lot of the businesses that had been established and thinking that because we were all in this FreelanceHER 100 program, you must have all been in a similar boat. And that was my estimation. And I thought, if we're all in a similar boat, how come they've got so many clients? How come they've been working and they've got like such clear understanding of their businesses? But some of these women have been running their businesses for like 2 decades. Some of them have been running that particular business and they've made their mistakes and done a lot of things. So it gave me a lot of perspective as to what I should expect from sort of like growing a business and the kind of grafting that is genuinely involved. And that really sort of like humbled me and gave me confidence at the same time. because it made it clear to me that you're very much at the beginning, like literally at the beginning of your business journey. And it gave me a lot of reassurance that I had actually done quite a lot. And because it was so forthcoming with their experience and their challenges and the things they had overcome, I was able to skip certain mistakes that I probably would have like learned the hard way had I gone it by myself. So being able to see the variance of experience and the sheer like diversity of businesses that were all in this space that had some sort of like semblance, it was really great for perspective. And I think it's given me really robust knowledge of business in general, because I'm informed by such diverse thought.
Yeah, thank you. And Jenny, what about you?
I think, like I touched on in my introduction, I think it kind of it came along at the right time and gave me a kick up the backside, if I'm honest. I'd been having a bit of a wallow in Lake Me, I think, and I've kind of realised you're all right, you've got skills, you're fine, just do it, And I think, because I'd started, doubting and going, oh God, shall I carry on working for myself? Shall I just go and get some sort of rubbish job that's part-time and go and do that? And basically, I think it was just a bunch of women that just went, oh, just shut up, crack on. They weren't quite as blunt every time, but it's what I needed. And I was just wallowing and being a bit self-pitying when I look back, really. And I suppose it was the time, wasn't it? Yeah, and it's just so I picked myself up, cracked on, and yeah, it is all right, isn't it? And better than it was before in many ways.
Yeah, definitely. Kaylee, how was your experience? What did you get from the peer mentoring?
I absolutely loved it. I didn't think I'd get as much as I did. And for me, I think a lot of it was quite emotional, in all honesty, because there's a group of women all there. And it was just amazing, all supporting one another. And just when you're having a hard time, you could put it out there. They knew what you were going through, so they had empathy for you. They could say, no, we've been here, this is what we think. Or somebody do something really great and it'd really motivate you, make you think, actually, I can achieve that too. So it gave you lots of great ideas, confidence, motivation. But I think just having a group there to speak to every week, whether you'd had a good week or an emotional week or a difficult week, that you could be quite honest and open with and share those ideas and thoughts. Yeah, it was. I got a lot of personal growth from it, as well as the business side and the confidence it gave me. I got a lot of emotional support when it was required, I would say.
Yeah, and I like Tina, I did mentoring on the programme as well. And I think for me, the first couple of weeks we were all sort of getting to know each other, but then it was all just like we could be ourselves. And I think that was the really beautiful thing from it, because, the groups, the 4 groups that I was a mentor or facilitated the peer mentoring with are all still in touch. And, we're still all championing each other. And I think that's been a really beautiful thing. But it was a huge emotional roller coaster, I think, for everybody. So I'm going to ask another question as well, because obviously community was really important. And I know that collaborations have sort of born out of this. Have any of you, and this is, Tina included in this, has this increased your client base? Has it given you opportunities that you perhaps didn't have before? That's quite an open question to all of you. So whoever wants to go first, go for it.
I'll go first.
Okay.
I have been able to, so I set up a website that's articles for micro business owners to write, sharing information for micro business owners. I've had people write for me for that. I've also been able to pass opportunities in the direction of some people. I've had a conversation with Kaylee about what she was doing, because I myself went through I'm going through surgically enforced menopause. So there's like all the different stuff that we've been able to support each other with there. And I think, there's been a lot, but I think also not just the business side of things, but the emotional support as well. checking in on people, making sure they are okay if they've had a tough time, because actually that is really important when you're a freelancer, because very often you're working from home, you're on your own, you think, as Jenny said, you end up wallowing in lake self-pity and, you know, all of that stuff. But to actually just suddenly get a message or just to pick up the phone to somebody, but there are opportunities that have come my way and suggestions I've made, and yeah, so it's been good. But it's just the community thing is just nice to have and get to know those people, and reason, season, lifetime.
Yeah, like I just wanted to echo that point by Tina about having that emotional support, because I remember there was a particular day one of the ladies in my group had a particularly tough time with a client, and she sort of just vented just really shortly, and all of a sudden you would think there was some sort of pact. We all had it out for this horrendous client person who we'd never met. We don't have perspective on it, but we were so protective of her. And I called her and spoke to her, and it was something that she just found so nourishing. But even on a practical level, one of the biggest strengths that I've realized that people have in business is who they know and the network, and being able to draw on people at appropriate times. And in order to build the type of network that I've built in the 12 weeks that I was on the program, it would have taken me years. It would have taken me years to connect with the sheer diversity of people that I've got to meet up. And I've got people who've made my business easier, because there's certain things that I could probably do up to a 60% and include in my package, or I could just repackage it as someone who could do up to 100% and price it accordingly. And those are things that I've learned through the workshops in the program, and I've been able to apply because of the practical relationships that I've been able to generate in these mentoring groups. So it's absolutely essential. It's an absolute essential part to it. It's been great.
And I'd say the same, really. It's been so great. And I think for me, share and connect. So sharing your ideas, having people to share with, but having all those connections, so your connections within your own peer group, then the bigger community of all the women together, which is quite powerful when you think about it. And then not being scared to reach out to those women. I think that was a big thing we were taught. Don't be afraid to say, I need your help, or can you help me? And don't be scared to say, I can help you with that. I can put you in touch with somebody. And like Ishu said, I think growing those connections in such a short space of time has been invaluable.
Yeah, I think I've really enjoyed, because I work in the mystical digital arena. I've really enjoyed being able to kind of, you know, I've had logins sent to me for websites, you know, and I've been able to fix things in 5 minutes, and people have been really appreciative. You know, it's knowledge I didn't really realise that I had or was valuable, but, you know, being able to fix it in 5 minutes and save people a couple of £100, you know, and that feels great, because it's like, I don't want to see small businesses paying hundreds, thousands of pounds for things, you know, because they're in the wool pulled over their eyes by people who kind of think, oh, wow, digital, yeah, we'll add an extra zero kind of thing. And equally, it's all the connections are brilliant. And I've really enjoyed being able to, you know, like pair people up with people that I know in the design world and in the digital world. And then I've seen people connect me as well. Yeah, and also a big thing for me is being told to charge more, which has made a massive, massive difference to how I run my business, how I feel about myself, and how I value my own skills. I'd say actually that's the biggest thing, other than the network and the community, the biggest business difference that's been made to me.
So obviously you had all these 12 workshops, we had brunch and learn sessions and various other different things. What would you have said out of all the workshops that you had? What was the standalone thing that you perhaps didn't know before that you've learned and that you've continued to use during your journey?
Oh, do you know what? It was one, and I can't remember what her name is.
Right. Was it the time one?
The time management one.
Yeah.
I knew what I was going to say. And I know it sounds so minor, but I think she said something along the lines of, when you're thinking about your client in the shower, which sounds really dodgy, but when you're thinking about your client in the shower, that's still billable time. You're still working, you know, and I'd not thought of it in that way. And I kind of always thought, you know, oh God, look, I'm folding up some washing, or I'm painting my toenails in the middle of the day, and I should be working, or I should be doing this. And I've carried a lot of guilt throughout my freelance life, where I wouldn't have done in my salaried life. You know, I'd sit and chit chat with my neighbour, I'd go and stand by the coffee machine for 20 minutes, you know, didn't think about it. But I kind of felt as though every single minute of the day had to be filled with something productive. And that has taken a massive guilt load off. It's meant that I'm actually more productive. You know, I'm scheduling in time to faff around and paint my toenails and go for a facial, do what I need to. And that has been revolutionary, to be honest.
Yeah, that was a great session. What about you, Kaylee? What was the standout one for you?
Mine was one that you did, Naomi, quite early on, actually. And it was that I hadn't given enough time to nailing down what my client was, who my clients are, where are they, what are they like, and really drilling down on the detail, not just, oh, it's a business like this and it's this area, but really getting down to the nitty-gritty of kind of what are they reading, what's their social media, what things interest them, how am I relatable, so I felt that really gave me some focus quite early on in the course, and that then drove a lot of how my business changed during the 12 weeks, which it really did flip on its head. And I loved that session, and it really made my business, I think it made a massive difference to my business.
That's good to hear. That's good to hear. What about you, Risha, too?
I'm struggling to choose one, but I'll go your workshop in terms of what you should have in your network as a professional was absolutely...
Oh, the eight
yes,
things.
the eight different people.
Yeah.
I had about 10 of one type of person and like none of most of the other people. And it just made me think so strategically. And it's horrible, but some people really dropped down my friendship list because I'm like, I've already got one of you. I'm sorry, but I've got stuff that I need to do. They're just not getting called back as quickly as they usually do. But it's so true. Like I never really thought about that. And just thinking in that way has already made a difference. So like I've already got clients from the people who have the type of connections that will favor my business. And I hadn't thought about it strategically, and they're not necessarily new people in my life. So that was one. But I have to say the workshop delivered by, I think we only had about 3 or 2 fellas who came to deliver workshops. Or was it just one?
You were a big fan. You were a big fangirl of Ross McKenzie, I remember.
I was.
He was great.
I loved his vibe, but the outcome is not the outcome, it's the outcome of the outcome. Thinking of that has absolutely blown everything that I do, because it just meant anytime I'm speaking to a client or speaking to someone whose perspective, I can just go, as a result of the thing that I do for you, you're going to be able to do that, that, and that, and that. And because I can easily say that and articulate that, it just like cuts down my chattering time and courting time by like 3/4. So that's been absolutely mind-boggling. But I could go on like all the workshops. Helen Fleet, absolutely loved it. It was number heavy, but so needed. And it's just like, no, it was absolutely fantastic. So definitely building up those skills is just, yeah, that was great.
And then Tina, you know, I know certainly I learned a lot. What did you learn? Because obviously you sort of dipped in and dipped out of different things, and you know, you've had all the sessions with the women. What have you learned? You know, did you learn anything?
I think the thing for me is, I mean, as I've already said, I've been 30 odd years self-employed, apart from a brief employed period that Naomi and I have both had a brief employed period in our...
Yeah, we won't talk about that.
We won't talk about that. It'll never happen again. But I'd got 30 odd years of being self-employed. And sometimes you just need to look back or reflect, however long. You know, don't be afraid of looking at what you're doing and how you're doing it. And actually, I think the one thing I need to add about the groups and everything else and the WhatsApp groups is that we've had a mentor WhatsApp group as well, and supported each other in that mentor WhatsApp group, and also the workshop deliverers. I think the whole way the course has been, including the people from the landing in for host, we've all worked very closely together, and actually there's been something. Yeah, the thing is, for me, you every day is a school day, and I know it sounds, but if you're sat back thinking that you've nailed it, that you've got it right, you know exactly where you are. I've had a conversation with Naomi on the back of this, saying, I don't think I'm charging enough, and she's like, you're right, girl, you're not charging enough. I needed to charge more so I could buy her a large box of tissues, of course, at the end of it, because as we all know, she gets a bit emotional when we start talking about how these things are. But I think there's been a lot of learning, and I think it's been an opportunity for reflection, because no matter how long you've been in business, and I'm actually going through a period of reflection anyway, because of my age, because of where I'm at, because of the age of my kids. I've got grandkids, and actually it's looking at where you want to go. And yeah, I've got years and years of experience to share with others, but other people's experiences can also then help you. And it was like, I think Aisha too said about the length of time. The other aspect I love about the programme was that not everybody was in a startup place. Some had been in business. I mean, Jenny Parkington, one of my ladies, has been in business for 25 years. But she was like, oh my God, I wish I'd just been on this accelerator program 20 years ago and I'd have learned all this. But I think that was the beauty of it as well, that no matter how long you'd been in business, there was something to learn for everybody, no matter whether you were a mentor. I think Ross learned that he had this huge, great big fan club of 100 women, because I tweeted him and said, oh my God, I've just started the Ross Mackenzie fan club apparently. So yeah, I think it was, but all of that is brilliant, and all of that helps us to work together, and all of that builds confidence, and all of that, and I think, and this no offence to the guys that are watching this, and no offence to the guys that were part of it, but there is definitely very much a men are from Mars and women are from Venus situation. Anyway, let's accept that. And I think the beauty of this was that
empowerment.
We were women. Yeah, and the guys that worked with it on us were very understanding of women and how women work. And, it's like Tony Robinson, my business partner. And I think that was all the beauty of it. That was the beauty of it. As far as I'm concerned, every single freelancer, female freelancer and female founder should be funded to go on a FreelanceHER 100 program. End of.
Yes. And I tell you what, one thing I would add is we can't not have this discussion and talk about Mo ISAP. So Mo ISAP was the person from Infor Group and host that brought me on board to create the program. The team at Infor and host were incredible. Just to name a few people, Danielle, Kieran, Chris, Bella, who came on board sort of later, Matt Daly, just really, really incredible people. So, for me to work with and have the opportunity to work with people from, Media City in Salford was incredible. Because they were such a joy to work with, but also they were really, this was a pilot. We want to do it again, but it was really sort of like, okay, this is what the impact. And I've seen the impact report, which I'm hoping to share with some of you soon. It's mind blowing, absolutely mind blowing. The impact that we've had on people's lives, and the impact that it's had on this 100 community. And I'm going to be careful because I don't want to start crying. No, I know. Okay, so I'm going to come to all of you. Okay, so you're all female entrepreneurs and freelancers. What are your 2 top tips to any woman who is listening on this program that you could give to any freelancer? And I'm going to come to Jenny first.
Don't wait till tomorrow. Just crack on, do it. You've more than likely got the skills, and if you haven't, you can learn them. Is that 2 or 3?
That's good. No, I'll go for that. Tina?
Look around you, look at the people who are there to support you. Build your crowd, those that are your supporters, those that are your customers, those that promote you. Don't be afraid to give it a go. And actually, if there's something holding you back, hunt me out on social media, and I will give you that kick up the backside for free that you need to send you in the right direction.
Thank you. Aisha too, what would be your 2 top tips?
Jenny and Tina have stolen mine, so I'm just, you know what? I read a quote yesterday that is so great, and it when a son asks his father, "Can you still be brave if you're afraid?" and the father says, "That is the only time that you can be brave, when you're afraid." And that really stuck out to me because I'm very much someone who overthinks things personally. So I would say, don't overthink it. No matter the amount of methodology or ideas or fail safes you're going to put in, it's still going to go kablooey at some point. You're still going to get challenges. So don't try to fix too many things before you've even started. Just start, do something, do a little, do a minute, do 5 minutes, do 20 minutes on your business idea, but do something. Don't stop.
And Kaylee, what would be your 2 top tips?
Gosh, it's difficult to say, really. I suppose if you are an entrepreneur, you've already got a passion for something, and there's a reason why you become an entrepreneur. So believe in yourself, just believe in yourself, have the confidence, and do things like this. Join these programs. If you can get on these programs to build that confidence and to help your business grow and get you to the place to achieve the goals and achieve your dreams, then don't be scared of it.
Okay, and
I just add one more thing.
Go for it.
That I think is really important. Age is a number. Do not be worried that you are too young. I have worked with young entrepreneurs, young at primary school. I know, I'd be very surprised if they're not going to be. And I think it's the over 65s at the moment are the highest percentage of people starting up business. Do not be afraid of looking at what you want to do as an idea, whatever age you are, just go for it.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. And I'm going to throw in two things. So get a mentor. I think mentors are really fantastic, and there's loads of places where you can get mentors. I would also say as well is surround yourself with a great community. And I think that the wonderful thing about this program is that we're going to have this community that's only going to get bigger. We've got 100, it's going to be another 200, another 300, and it's going to be, we're hoping to work with 1,000 women. So I'm going to ask you a sort of like question now. So everybody, what's next for all of you? So Tina, I know that you're working on a few things, and Jenny, Aisha too, Kaylee, what's next?
What's next?
Yeah.
Well, I'm working with Jenny at the moment, and I'm working with Ty, one of the girls from our FreelanceHER community. So I'm having a workplace video recorded in about 2 weeks' time. We've already nailed most of the graphics for it. I've never done a training video before. And that's just something that wouldn't even have been on my radar at the beginning of the programme. I was thinking quite small, and I was thinking, I'm just going to do a bit of this and a bit of that. And instead it made me think, actually, I saw what other women were doing, and they were really pushing themselves out of their comfort zones. And I thought, you know what, I can do that too. And that's what I'm doing. So
that's brilliant.
I'm doing a video, and I'm really excited about it. And I'm hoping that may well be a catalyst for doing different type of trainer videos and thinking outside the box, rather than me just thinking I have to think small. Yeah. No, I'm not. I'm thinking big. I've got goals.
Well, I think another thing as well, the only positive thing that's come out of what we've gone through is that we now have global customers. And I think that we all should sort of think beyond our front doors and beyond even Manchester. because there's opportunities all over the world. What's next for you, Jenny?
Well, I'm going to kind of carry on with what I'm doing, obviously, moving onwards and upwards. But throughout the programme, I think I kind of realised that I needed to work out what sort of customers and clients I really enjoyed working. And I've taken on a couple of tech type companies, which I've discovered that that's actually what I really enjoy doing. I love working with all my clients, but I've decided that, yeah, I really enjoy working with tech. So I've just taken on two small tech, not startups, but quite interesting businesses that I can really get my teeth into. And hopefully I can build on that with the experience and kind of grow into more of a tech specialism, I think.
That's very exciting.
Yeah.
Very exciting. And Aisha too, what's next for you? Because I know that the what you applied for the programme with, your idea is just massively evolved. So can you just talk to us a little bit about, maybe from that start to where you are now? Because I know it's very different, isn't it?
It is so different. I was so sure, because I'd done a postgraduate in project management, that I was going to be a freelance project manager, just come there and take on random projects and just do that. So apparently that's far too vague and too big to be a sustainable business. So through the program, by the time I got to the end of it, it was clear that what I really had a passion for was finding solutions to why businesses were so inefficient, just not achieving their aims, and why some people were too scared to even have business aims because they were worried about achieving them. And because of the type of person that I am, I'm able to troubleshoot really well, but people also they respond to me. So as this new person, as a business strategist, I'm able to go into organizations and go, right, so you've got communications problems, that tends to be my specialism. Or sometimes it's just a matter of, we don't know why, but we just don't know how many appointments we've got. It can be something as simple as that. And in looking at that and knowing that the core of my skill is thinking strategically and seeing the whole entire picture, and I've still got a real soft spot for tech, going forward, it seems like I'm really honing in even more into that and looking at a tech role as a service designer, which pulls on all my experience as a business strategist. And now that I have the confidence to be an entrepreneur, I feel like I can really just own that and not feel like I need to use all my talents to do everything and gather all the clients in the world. I'm really honing into this space of holistic thinking, strategic thinking, and being able to find solutions very creatively and just get stuff done. So I've moved into the space now where I'm currently a business strategist, but I'm continually pivoting, and eventually I'll be a service designer that you may call upon as a tech professional.
That's very cool. And obviously Jenny's working with tech businesses. I work with tech businesses, as you know. So yeah, you'll be fine. So Tina, what's next for you? What are you up to at the moment?
I'm working as a mentor on a couple of other programs at the moment, alongside my good friend Naomi Timperley. I have made a big change because for the last 5 years I've been running two businesses, the Tina Bowden Micro Business Specialist and also the B&B Keeper. The B&B Keeper was also very much about the well-being of the business owner, and I would go in when went right back to my hospitality roots, which I had when I'd just left college and my parents owned pubs and hotels. And I'd gone in and looked after as relief manager. Now I've stepped away from that because what I have realised is my strength is mentoring and supporting people and ensuring the well-being of the micro business, and the micro business owner is as good as it can be. And actually, if there's something that's coming out of this whole last 12, 18 months, it's the support that these people are going to need. And as Naomi knows, I feel very, very strongly about people being supported by real people that have been there and done it and have empathy and understanding, and not by people who say they've done it and have no track record. So, yeah, I'm going to make sure that I'm driving the mentoring support, and I'm doing some community stuff as well around community and collaboration, which again is where my strengths are. Basically going with my strengths and making sure that I'm doing a lot of the stuff that I'm doing remotely to reduce down other people's meeting time and give them more me time, hopefully.
Brilliant, thank you. So for anyone who is watching...
What about you? What are you doing?
Oh, what am I doing? I'm doing loads of things, as you know. I'm starting a programme next week with 100 young entrepreneurs from Oman, which I'm delivering remotely, which is very exciting. And of course, Tina, you're one of the mentors on it. I'm working with one-to-one with a few clients on sort of growth, ideation, innovation type projects. And then in the throes of doing MMU Starter Bootcamp, I'm doing some work with Queen's University in Belfast and a bunch of other stuff. It's funny, actually, because I saw someone yesterday and he said, oh, what are you doing? And he said, I'm just exhausted just thinking about all the things that you're doing. But, you know, I've got a little bit of time here, and it works out. My brain's like a bento box. But yeah, I was just going to say, if anyone who's watching and listening to our discussion today, we will be running FreelanceHER again. You can get more information about the programme on FreelanceHER100.com. Hopefully, we will be taking applications again very soon. And, you know, if you are a woman from the Greater Manchester area and you have a business in the tech, digital, creative sector, you can register your interest. We have all of our social links as well, so you can find us on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Twitter, and on Instagram, FreelanceHER100. I'm just going to ask you all one more question. What would you say to anybody thinking about going on the programme?
Do it.
Okay.
Do it. Go for it.
Have I not already answered that?
I think you have. You have.
Yes. Program.
Yeah. Okay. So one more quick comment from all of you. So just if you had to describe in one word FreelanceHER, what would that be? And I'm going to go first. I'm going to say community.
Cathartic.
Emotional.
Collaborative.
Emotional, yes, definitely emotional. Tina, collaborative. What's yours, Aisha, too?
Build. I can't think of just build. Just building. Just building.
I'll take that. Okay, I'm just going to come to Karen, who's just running the chat. Do we have any questions before we close the session? If you could just let me know. Otherwise, everyone, you can find us on LinkedIn. But I know that we've got a number of women that need to go and pick up kids now. So without further ado, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for listening. Thank you to my wonderful panel, Jenny, Tina, Aisha too, and Kaylee. And really big thank you to Karen Craig and the wonderful team at Salford. Big thank you to Infor Group and host Immediacy. But thank you for your time, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you all.
Thanks for all. Thank you so much for listening. And if you don't have a business yet, go start one. Go start one now so you can sign up to the program. It's going to be great.
Do it.
Do it.
Bye.
Cheers.